Do you ever have a task that's so daunting that you don't even know where to start? I'm kind of feeling that way about my South Tube 3 videos. I think I've put it off for the last week because I just didn't know where to start. So I'm starting here. I'm starting at the end of the trip. Rather than the 7 hours that it took me to get there, it took me 26 hours to get home. I'm going to cut out little bits and pieces because it's a long story to start with. Made it to the airport at about 3:30 or so on Monday afternoon. My flight was supposed to leave at 5:40. It was rescheduled to 7:30. And then it didn't board until 8 o'clock. And then we sat on the tarmac for 3 hours and didn't get to Atlanta until almost 11:30. By this time, I had been sitting, I hadn't slept much on the trip to start with, which was okay with me because I was having fun. But my feet, I sat too long and they swelled up. Instead of having normal ankles like I usually do, they were like 2 times as big as normal. So they hurt really bad. Well, I got to Atlanta at about 11:30 that night, which meant that I missed my 9:30 connecting flight to San Francisco and dealt with a lot of rude Delta people. I will never, ever, ever fly Delta again. Ever, ever, ever. I got shuffled here and there and here and there. Go here, no go here, no go here. And when your feet hurt and you're really tired and you're getting bitchy, that's not a good thing. So I finally get to a place where I find out that my next flight is at 8:30 the next morning. So 9 hours away. I'm really tired. Really tired. I go down and catch their little subway because I have to go from Terminal A, B, C, D, baggage claim, and then ground transportation to get to the hotel. So I get to ground transportation. I cross the street and I see somebody that works there and I said, where do I catch the shuttle for the Ramada? They said, oh, down around the corner, behind that building and across the street. Okay. I'm talking to a tired, crabby woman, but okay. Well, I get over there and my shuttle should be in slot 7, 8, or 9. There's no shuttles there in those 3 slots. Every other slot, like 1 to 12, has a shuttle in it but mine. So this guy comes over and says, are you looking for one for the Ramada? And I said, yeah. He said, he probably won't be there for a while. So I said, okay. He said, but our hotel will honor your voucher. And I said, great. So I look over in his van and there's 3 or 4 Marines sitting in there too. And I felt rather comfortable. I wouldn't have just gotten in a strange van with a strange man, but these guys were in uniform and kind of felt secure. So we drove 5 minutes to Days Inn, I don't remember, hotel, and I go in. The lady at the front desk was rather pleasant at first and asked how she could help me, and I said I need a room for the night, and she said okay. Name, blah blah blah. That's really not my name, but you get the picture. And how will you be paying for this? And I said I have a voucher, and she said no, the voucher is for $50 off the room rate, which is $106, so you still owe me $56. General principles would not let me do it after the day that I had had. I said, forget it. I went outside, I called my husband, and I said, you know I'm not a crier. And he said, I know. He said, but do it. It'll help you. And I said, no. If I sound unenthusiastic, this is the 5th time I'm redoing this video, and I'm losing my oomph. I'm ready to just scrap the whole thing. I waited for the next shuttle to go back to the airport. Got back to the airport, the guy dropped me off. Obviously when I left the airport, I left the secure area where I'd already gone through security, through my baggage and everything else. And couldn't get back in because my ticket stub was only, it wasn't whatever I actually needed to get back into the secure area. So I go up to a Delta desk because if you've ever been to the Atlanta airport, you know that there are literally hundreds of Delta windows, but no Delta agents. So I couldn't get back into the secure area of the airport, and I was left out in the unsecure area where there were people coming up and begging for food and money. It was freezing cold. I found a few people that I stayed with most of the night. It's definitely not set up for sleeping. Basically at 4 o'clock or 4:30, someone said, there's a Delta agent. So I took my thing, I went and got it changed into a boarding pass, and I was able to then walk my 50 miles to the gate that I was supposed to go to find out it had been moved. And I had to go through security again. And I got stopped this time because I had peppers in my bag. And the guy said, "Doll baby, where are you from?" And I said, "California." He said, "They don't have those there, do they?" I said, "No." And he said, "Well, doll baby, you just take those home to your family and you enjoyed them." But this was after we had unpacked my suitcase. So that was fun, repacking my suitcase at the security desk. I'm losing my train of thought here, you guys. I'm sorry. If you make it this far, peppers. Oh, finally get to the terminal after I went to the one where they changed it to a different one. And of course, they weren't close to each other at all. It was like T2 over to A37 again. Out of character for me, I laid my suitcase down. I laid my purple fuzzy pillow down. And I slept at the terminal on the floor of A37 for about an hour, hour and a half. Had my husband call and wake me up when it was about an hour before the flight. Went to the bathroom, washed my face, tried to become human. Got on the plane, got next to a lady who decided she wanted both armrests. So I get to sit like this the whole time. And of course we're in front of the bulkhead row, so you can't put your seat back, so you get to sit straight up the whole time. And the lady in front of me decided she wanted her seat back, so I got to smell the back of her head the whole time. It wasn't necessarily pleasant. Couldn't pull out my laptop because there was no room. Just a really, really long flight. At this point, my feet were hurting so bad. But to make a long story short, yeah, my 7-hour flight from Chattanooga to San Francisco, 26 hours, almost to the minute. I got to Petaluma, the town where my husband was supposed to pick me up, and he was so swamped at work that he couldn't leave to just meet me there. He had to wait until I called so he didn't have to take any extra time. And he brought me home, and I collapsed and went to bed and slept for a couple of days. I hope this story wasn't as boring as I think it is, but just even putting me back in the mode of reliving that experience, the ride home. So, Casey and Daniel and John, Brojo Ghost. This is for you just to wake me up a little bit. Yum. I think you guys need to go over their pages and ask them about it. Tears of Rain, Daniel say, "What?" And Brojo Ghost. Ask them how they like peppers. All gone.